And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Today the Dice Tower is reviewing
Tower.
No dice.
Next week we'll do dice.
Although there is a die in the game.
There is.
But it's not really used much for other than... Anyway. The Tower is a game about building a tower, and you're using resources to build that tower. And you're using jewels to get those resources to build that tower. That's a pretty good description, right?
Yeah, that's basically it.
Let's give you a more detailed one. In this game, players are going to be attempting to build their tower, the massive tower of 3 pieces here. To build each level of the tower, you're going to get a card that's going to show you the type of resources you need. So this one needs 2 bricks. It needs a barrel, which is blue on the card, although the barrel itself is brown. It needs a pile of wood and some wheat. And you can see those resources are out there. These resources are sold at different shops, and those shops are selling those resources for gems. So this guy will sell you a wheat. You can get it for 3 greens, a green and a red, or a green, a red, and a blue. This guy over here is selling different things, and so you're going to be able to go to those. At the beginning of your turn, you're going to randomly pull some gems, 3 gems out of this bag. Now this bag has red, blue, and green gems, and also has black gems, which are technically not gems. They're black market passes, and they're in the bag in different distributions, 10, 20, 30, 40. Now, you can take actions on your turn. What you're allowed to do is you're allowed to take your little meeple dude, and the game comes with a whole pile of meeples with stickers, yay, and you can stick him on a market and you can shop at that market. That stops anybody else from going to that market, but if you don't buy anything from the market that turn, you have to remove your guy. So you can't block a market unless you're actually buying something that's there. And again, you just simply pay the jewels that you have, take the resource in front of you. Or you can also go visit Salil. Whenever you pay for anything, you're going to be putting the gems here, and if you have gems, you can go in here and trade. So I can trade 3 greens, 2 blues, or red for a gem of my choice, or a black market pass I can trade for any 2 gems. Also, once per turn, you can go up here and you can buy from the black market deck. You can spend a black market pass, 2 reds, 4 blues, or 6 greens to draw the top 3 cards, and these are 3 thugs who might help you. This here lets you steal 3 gems from Salid. This one here, this is a wild resource card. This one here, you can steal a building material from a market stall that's out on the table. So you pick one of those. Each of these also has a cost on the bottom of it. That's how many gems you have to pay to play that card later on. So players can be taking these actions, and finally you'll get the resources that you can get to build your card, and then you simply pay those resources back to whatever shops have open spots. Play this in front of you. You'll draw 3 more cards from the build deck, pick one of those, and keep going. The first person to build all 3 of these pieces of their gigantic tower is the winner of the game. First of all, I'm going to take exception with the name Tower.
Because it's so very plain, or?
Well, for a couple reasons. One, because it's plain. The word tower is kind of drab. There's so many games with the word tower in them. Searching for this on the internet is a real pain in the neck. Mm-hmm. You shouldn't name your game a game that's hard to find on the internet, but that's besides the point. It's called Tower. This is not a tower. I'm sorry. 3 floors isn't a tower.
Townhome, the game.
Not to mention, there's no concept of building a tower at all. You're building a card.
Okay.
3 cards.
Right.
You're building 3 things. I mean, if I put them all next to each other and built 3 houses, it would be the same thing.
Sure.
Anyhow, okay, that wouldn't make me turn away from the game. I'm just saying that's kind of a pain.
Well, the game is, the name of the game is really quite bland. You can do better than that. I mean, I actually think the theme of the game is interesting. But the name is Tower. We can do better than just Tower. Yeah.
I like the artwork a lot. I think you liked it even more than me.
I love it. Yeah, I think it's excellent.
And the components are great. I mean, the little barrels, the bricks. I mean, they're easy to tell apart. The only problem I have with components is because of the way the boards were and how they put the jewels on them. From certain vantage points, you're constantly having to move resources to see how much something cost.
I agree. Yeah, that's problematic. That would have been easily fixed with a little more playtesting. You know, that graphic design, putting the gems right there where the resource is going to cover them up. That's a problem.
Overall thoughts on the game itself. When I heard about how the game played, it sounded really interesting. But there's two big problems with the game. One is that jewel draw from the initial bag can really swing the game around for you.
Yes.
I draw a black and 2 reds, and Z draws 2 blues. Yeah, that might even out over the course of the game, but if we're playing pretty evenly, and in the last couple turns I just draw better, I'm going to do better.
Right.
Secondly, the game's boring. That's my other problem.
Well, I think I have the same two issues. The main problem for me is that the game, as we described in the introduction to the video, you grab gems to turn them into resources, to turn them into a tower. But those last 2 steps are fixed. So really it's a game about drawing gems better than the other guy. Which means it's random. The game is perfectly and completely random. I'm going to grab in a bag, I'm going to pull out some gems, and like you said, if I get better gems than you, I win. Because the stuff's out there anyway. You can buy it if you have what you need to have to buy it. So it just sort of makes you go through 2 more steps for what's really a 1-step process, grabbing gems. If you do that better, you win. That's a problem. The game just felt really flat for me, and I wanted to like this game too because it looks so good, it sounded interesting, but it's a game about pulling gems from a bag better than the other guys.
There is that. Okay, so other than what Z said, where it's basically drawing gems, the hang-up then would be the market deck. Okay, I'm sorry, the black market deck, where you're drawing 3 cards. Although interestingly enough, you take 2 of the cards that you don't choose and put them back on top. So if you do that several turns in a row, you see the same cards. Some of these cards are clearly better than other ones, and some of them are incredibly powerful. Stealing a resource from somebody else. Let's say I paid, 2 red gems to get this card. If I steal, and then the card lets me steal a resource from someone else, that costs me some more resources to do that. I forget how many, I think 4. So it's a total of 6 resources. So why couldn't I have just gone and bought it? But someone else might be annoying. It's easier for me to steal from somebody else.
Sure,
and it hurts them. They go down in resources because I'll steal something useful from them probably. That's very direct interaction, and I don't mind direct interaction, but I can see a lot of people really disliking that.
Right.
Right, when you're about to do something, someone steals it from you. Then if you're playing a multiplayer game, someone else steals it from you. You want to go to a market, someone has blocked that market off. They're not even trying to block you. They just happen to go to the market that turn.
Sure, right.
And having the different markets with the different resources cost, it meant nothing to me. All these numbers, I knew that red was better than blue was better than green.
Right.
But other than that, there was no value. You can go trade gems over at the market, but it all comes down to what you draw. It keeps coming back to that main thing.
It does.
There are 3 mini expansions in the game about being wanted, not stealing from the gem shop. There's an automatic player for a single player thing, which I haven't played, and other special people that you can get, like someone who you can go to 2 shops and you can make someone block a shop. But that's just kind of variations on the same theme. My overall thoughts are that I wanted to like it like Z did. I think it looks really good, has a sharp look to it, but just ends up feeling very samey. Pull gems, spend them, buy, do something, but without any real choices. Very obvious what I should buy. Very obvious where I should go.
Yeah, and as soon as you can buy something with the gems you've been basically given randomly, then you buy it. That's it.
And as soon as you can buy these cards, you do
buy
that.
them. Yeah, I mean, the game really feels like it's on autopilot, which is the problem.
And it goes on a little longer than it should even for that. I might have forgiven it if it was 15 minutes in that regard, but the game is closer to it. It says 45 minutes in the box, and that's just too long for this kind of game.
Right.
So, neat idea, great delivery in the looks, but the game itself doesn't match.
Agreed. Pass for me.
Dice Tower judgment, boring.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door.